Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the Tour de France 2021 playthrough with the Ineos Grenadiers. Today it is time for stage number 16, another mountain stage that might just decide where the yellow jersey goes. But in yesterday's episode, it was a tough day in the saddle. It was a very tough day. Not as tough as I thought it would have been actually, looking at some of those climbs. We handled it pretty well, and as you can see, Egan Bernal just about won the stage, winning it by 16 seconds to Tadej Pogacar, sorry. Roglic managed to finish 6th, but we gained more time over our opponents. But Higuita was the man who was and still has got the yellow jersey. But crucially, we've gained 4.5 minutes on him, so it looks a little bit like this in the general classification. We're 2 minutes and 40 behind Higuita. I think unless we have a disaster, he's the only man that can stop Bernal winning the yellow jersey now. Pogacar is 3 minutes behind, and Roglic is nearly 6 minutes behind. It's not been a good Tour de France for the Jumbo-Visma team because they're not on top of any of the classifications at the moment. And it looks like we should win the best climber classification, but Wellens was in the breakaway yesterday, so he's got a couple more points. So it looks like we're going to win 3 classifications if we keep going the way we are, and of course, you know, these are obstacles. These are going to be tough days in the saddle. The next 3 days are all mountain stages, which are going to decide where the Tour de France goes. Yes, we have got the time trial to come in stage number 19, but as long as we've got a lead of at least 60 seconds, I think Bernal should be good enough to win us the Tour de France from there. You can see that it's another tough day today. 2 first-class climbs and a second-class climb. So once again, I think it should be, as expected, a 3-star stage. There you go. Mountain stage is a key stage in the conquest for the general classification. And of course, we're going to try to go for another stage win with Bernal. We had a rest day after yesterday's stage. So let's see how we get on. So stage number 16, as you can see already, starts on quite a sharp decline. So we're going to try to look going the breakaway today. We're going to go with Kwiatkowski because we haven't done too much of going in the breakaway in this Tour de France. Really because we just wanted to make sure we got that yellow jersey for Bernal as a bit of revenge really for last year where we didn't quite get it. We were really strung out from stage 2 onwards. So we're going to go straight away with Kwiatkowski. I think it's a good chance with the downhill section that we can go for a full pedal and not lose too much energy. Just get our protection in place. Yeah, can't afford to react late to any attacks. We're going to get Gammon to protect Bernal, Castroviaggio to protect Gegenhardt, and Dennis to protect Yates. You can see everyone's in pretty good condition for today's stage, given we had a rest day, but equally, it's going to be the same for everybody. So everybody's going to be in quite good condition. So, yeah, let's see how we go today. Well, as you can typically imagine, the one breakaway we don't go with goes away. Not too concerned though. There's nobody in there who's really going to be any danger for the classifications. Obviously, Kwiatkowski wasn't going to be either, but one of the main motivations towards going for it is that Wellens, who's got the polka dot jersey, was in there. I'm going to get Geraint Thomas just to protect Kwiatkowski, just, you know, because he is in a little bit of a poorer nick than anybody else. Just want to make sure he's protected coming up this climb. But I think for the start of the day, it's not going to be much of an issue. We're all going to be able to keep our energy, so there's no problem with that. Just stick in the peloton, not do anything stupid. And I think it'll be the second half of the day where things start to get interesting. So I am being told by the director that this could get interesting. So apparently the peloton will string out as we come over the climb. So we're just making sure we don't lose any time with our main man. In fairness, our guys are usually up there, but I don't want to risk it by losing any time. Obviously, don't need to exert any energy, but I know what they're saying. If we do lose time in this at this juncture, then you know we could waste useless energy by trying to get it back. So Bernal's well placed. I think we're all well placed, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we're at the first big climb of the day. Well, it's going to be the biggest difficulty of the day, really. And if we want to make an impact, then it's going to be here that we do it. So I have asked Geraint Thomas to come and protect us. And we will go for it there. I think if we're proactive, that's the best thing that we can do. I mean, Geraint's not up with us, so we might just get Kwiatkowski to do it instead. He's a pretty good climber. And what we're going to do, we're going to go pretty early here. We're just going to try and string things out the way that we've done throughout this Tour de France to good effect. Obviously, we know that we've got all of our feed to come that we can take in this climb. Just to verify that, yeah, we do have our full feed. So we're just trying to string the peloton out. Get Kwiatkowski to come and protect me. We've got more than enough energy to sustain this attack for a little while longer. And then we'll just get him to protect us at this juncture. So we've pulled a big gap on those behind. So that's good stuff so far. Got more than enough energy at the moment, so I'm not concerned about that. Just getting Kwiatkowski to protect us here. We've got more than enough energy, as you can see. So we'll see if this bears any fruit. I mean, we've pulled a 50-second gap on the peloton. Let's see how we go. Could be a good one. Might not turn into anything. So the peloton's back together again. But we're going to get Kwiatkowski to put another shift in. It's just trying to work the peloton hard, make sure we can string it out. As I say, it's what we've been successful at throughout this Tour de France. We'll see if it bears any fruit again. We know we've got full feeds to use with everyone. We have used half of Kwiatkowski's red gel. I'm just bearing that in mind. Tell Kwiatkowski just to chill it now, just for Bernal's own good, really. But we will try and go on another attack on this climb because we've got the energy to do so. We've got a big decline as we come back down the other end before we get our next feed. But it might just be a peloton finish today. I don't know. We'll see. So, the final climb of the day. And it could be a risk. But we're going to go alone with Bernal. Purely just to shock people a little bit. You can see it's a fairly short one. But we'll look to make the most of that really steep bit of the climb. Give Ganna his blue feed already. But it is going to be a short, sharp climb, and that's what we'll try and attack. I mean, nobody up at the front that's going to cause any danger, so not particularly worried about winning the stage, but I think this is probably going to be where the stage is decided. There's obviously the sprint that comes after this, so you could argue that it might nullify itself, but it's always worth giving it a go, trying to extend the gap. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Let's try and be proactive in this juncture. I mean, if we've got anybody who's just behind us, then we might look to go for it, but no, all of our guys are right in the peloton, so they're okay for today. And we'll just try and force a little bit of pace as we start to come up here. We know we've got a full feed left, so we can use as much as that as we like. But we'll just try and catch anybody out in the peloton who's not quite got the pace. And that's the aim. The only way we'll gain time is to string the peloton out. And take our blue feed at this point. And then with a kilometre to go, we can just go full hammer and tongs for it. This is where it starts to get really steep. And this is where I would think the rest of the peloton is going to start to struggle a little bit now. So we'll give all of our guys who haven't had their feed yet, we'll give them their feed. And then we'll just push it with Bernal. This is where it gets really steep. This is where people are going to start to struggle. And hopefully Bernal will start to gain a little bit of a lead. And that just starts to drag the peloton out. Just check on everybody else. They've nearly took their feed, so just try and give them their red feed when we get chance. Last push before we get to the top. It's Jacob Fuglsang who's come with us so far. And we'll give everybody their red gel. You can see they're all starting to struggle, and that's really because of the pace we've put in. One final push before we get to the top. And that's good stuff from Bernal. Again, a slight gain on those behind. Whether it will bear any fruit, we'll see. But we'll gain all the energy coming down this climb, so I don't think there's any harm in doing that. Well, I don't think it's going to bear any fruit today, unfortunately. You can see we are back with the peloton, albeit a strung out peloton. Higuita's still with us, so we're not going to gain any time there. And there's no point pushing it too much with Bernal towards the end of this. So I think we're just going to ride this out. I don't think there's any harm. We're not going to gain anything. It might be a couple of seconds, but certainly nothing worth pushing over. So we're just going to sit here to the end of the stage, really. We might as well go for the stage victory with Kwiatkowski. I can't see us getting ourselves back in the points classification at all, but I guess you just never know. And we've got plenty of energy left with Kwiatkowski to use before the end of the stage. So there's no harm with that. We'll just probably get Yates to protect Bernal until the end. Don't see any harm with that. Gegenhardt's probably lost a little bit of time today, but no harm in that. But there's not going to be any push towards the end, I wouldn't expect. So Bernal's not going to lose any time on his contemporaries. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's really my opinion on this. And you've just got to be proactive sometimes. That's something we've seen a lack of this year. So that is a shock, to say the least. Looks like the guys in front are going to keep it until the end. So Kvatkowski might just struggle here, unfortunately. And I don't really think it's worth going for it if it's just going to be 18 points that we can get here. So, final kilometre of the race. Yeah, nobody really going for it, so I wouldn't worry about things too much. Just accelerate till the end, and it's a decent day for us. It is a decent day. Yeah, these mountain stages, I mean, the last one was really good for us, but it's a balanced day today. That's the main thing. We haven't lost any time. Bernal stayed with it. Yet, maybe we've exerted a little bit more energy than we could have done with, but that just means that everybody else is more tired, and I think that it might be a science that doesn't work. I guess it's not an exact science, but I do think if we can use energy in these stages, and the likes of Roglic and Pogačar, their teammates are going to have to work harder, and it just takes away the opportunity of their teammates being able to come with them in the upcoming stages, whereas the likes of Kvatkowski, Gegenhardt, there's always one that seems to be able to come with us, which is really positive. But the breakaway does just about win today, so good for them. Higuita still has got the yellow jersey, so we're going to have to do something monumental in the next two stages to stop him, or else he's going to win this Tour de France. That's the only shame. The opportunities are running out to do something, but let's see. It is a mountain stage today, but it wasn't the biggest of mountain stages. They weren't the highest class climbs, and I think we'll see that in the next couple of days. And whether we can get anything out of those. But as I said, we haven't lost any time today, and it was very much nothing ventured, nothing gained in the end. There was no harm of going for that. You can see there's no change really in the general classification, apart from Velens dropping back, so Pogačar does move into the top three. Best climber classification, Bernal 14 points off Velens, and as you can see really the points classification, it very much is Van der Poel's to lose at this point. So, stage number 17 of the Tour de France that will be coming to you guys on Tuesday. Let's have a look at the layout of this one. It's going to be a tough one. I've got a feeling the last two are going to be really, really tough. But let's see. It's a mountainous finish as well, which is where we're going to try and gain time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Two first class climbs and a highest class climb. If we're going to gain time, this is certainly where we're going to do it. It's going to be a tough stage, followed by a tough stage in stage number 18. But the next two stages are where the Tour de France is going to be decided. Yes, we've got the time trial, but I think the gap we've got to Pogačar and Roglic isn't a problem. The only thorn in our side now could be Higuita. I'll be back on Tuesday for stage number 17. If you've enjoyed today's stage, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content. So thank you very much for your company today, folks. I've been TIJ Gaming, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.